Hello. And the thing is that I wanna be fair, so that I do so much work debunking feminism and all these leftist ideas because they are quite a mainstream right now. So of course, more crazy stuff happens around them, but I don't want to be biased, so I also want to debunk the right and tell my ideas about that. So I've been thinking now a couple of days that what is alt-right? Like Hillary just kept this alt-right speech and he says that he wanna ban Breitbart, this kind of magazine that I've also like linked from articles and talked about before. For example, when I talked about the Wikipedia scandal with the terrorist attack, and also when I've talked about Milo Yiannopoulos getting banned from Twitter, etc. So I think this weekend has been very, very productive, very good, because I think that there's really two ways to combat this regressive behavior from left to right now, and I think that's really crystallized in my head this weekend. So the one is humor and basically trolling, that you just say something quite obnoxious but not too bad in anyone's eyes, just some odd or mean joke or whatever, and people explode on you and show how stupid they are for overreacting and trying to build it out of proportion, etc. Then everyone around sees who is the stupid one, who is overreacting, and who is just staying calm and collected and not losing their temper and just being rational and thinking about this for equality, anyone in the situation, not just for the left people in the left or whatever. So true equality in that sense, because I see it all the time that it kind of slips away from them when they ban all racism and sexism. They are so strongly against it that basically then they enable man hating, they enable white people hating, white race hating, male hating, because basically the rules aren't applied at all. Basically, those bad things that can just happen to white males and no one cares. But that's another thing entirely. But the thing is that I've been thinking about what is alt-right, how to explain it, and so another thing that was really cool is that it's this kind of trolling and triggering people and humor and stand-up and all this kind of good stuff and humor to fight for freer society. And I think that's very romantic idea also. So I don't wanna get violent. I'm not a violent person. I would never hit anyone. So I don't wanna go there. And I also I'm not very interested in starting any political movements here in Finland. So good that I can do it with my sense of humor and a bad taste in humor. But anyway, and the other thing is that we can kind of develop these ideas. Like, for example, it's very good that we have the word virtual signal. So if someone is treated unfairly because someone just wants to virtual signal, you can easily point it out and tell everyone what's happening and why is it happening, because they apply the racism unequally or whatever. And now we had an article from Sargon of Akkad. I watched it a couple of times, but I have to still like learn from it because I can't remember it very accurately. Is that basically this power plus prejudice equals racism bullshit you hear from everywhere? He had very, very like sound hearing debunking of that and where it fails and why it's more of a problem than actual definition for racism in current world. And that was very good. So we can kind of develop these ideas. And one thing that we have been missing is clearly defined goals, because that is very important. That is the most important thing that I want, for example, out of feminism. That you will set clearly decisive goals, like you want same pay from same work, and you want, for example, equal rights in this and that manner, etc. But when you get those, like in many ways we have gotten there in, for example, women can vote, etc., then you stop demanding those rights, because if you demand more rights when you have equal rights, then you are demanding supremacy. You are demanding not equal treatment for yourself. You want better treatment. You want to be protected class. So that is not okay, I think, and that is something that you need a clearly defined kind of goals for your kind of movements because and ideas, because otherwise it's very slippery slope that when you start to oppress others when you already have equality in many cases. Like for example, a good example of spreading this kind of bullshit would be the gender wage gap myth. So in Finland and in America and most countries in the Western world, women are paid the same pay for the same work, but there's still this wage gap because you just equal all the pay that every man gets and equal all the pay that every woman gets, and then you don't look for kind of like that people are divided. You kind of don't think about that people might have, like someone might want to do something that is more well paid or do something that they really want even if it's not that well paid, etc. And just if you measure everything with money, then, for example, because men usually work more overtime, men usually work more dangerous working conditions. For example, great majority of work-related deaths come from men, very little from women. So these things add up to the point that you might see some kind of difference. And there was actually a really big gender wage gap study just recently, and I'm thinking about reading it, the whole study. And if it's very interesting, I will definitely make a video about it and maybe even write a book about debunking some of these myths. But it's still a little bit in my head, the idea. But the idea is this, that there, when you did take into consideration all these things, then you found that there's an 8% of difference between the pay in America with men and women, and that can't be explained with overtime. It can't be explained with that women give birth and have more maternity leaves. It can't be explained by personal choices. But there's nothing to conclude that 8% is sexism then, but they don't know what it is. So time will tell, and maybe it's sexism, and if it is sexism, then when we have proof of that, I will be the first one to try to get it fixed. I will be there with the first real, this kind of real thing and not just made up problem comes up with women's rights in Finland. I will be the first one to go there and protest and do videos and want equal rights for every person, but it can't really work if you just want it when it suits your gender and then maybe forget about it if it's if you have the better position in some kind of situation, because societies rarely are equal in many cases, but there are differences also in men's and women's biology that doesn't account all the individual level, and not all men are like men and not all women are like women, but you get the gist. So not all, but there's differences that can be measured and they do affect these things. But anyway, so now this is great because alt-right, this kind of movement that is very new political movement that kind of combines the conservative and liberal thinkers in United States, that people just that are fed up with that, basically the left that is running media, that is running everything, and universities, etc. It can't. They totally drop the ball because there's so many issues they are not willing to talk about, and if someone else brought them up, then they are racist or sexist for just mentioning that things, and they are things that we should really have a discussion and try to work, not like unlike, for example, gender wage gap that is totally bullshit and there's no reason to believe at the moment that it's sexism and that everyone is paid the same, but still the myth, the lie persists, and that's why I think I would need to write a debunking book on these ideas. But anyway, so the ideas that what the alt-right wants, like Black Lives Matter has given demands, then basically Milo has given demands of the alt-right. He's not a member of the alt-right, even though, for example, Hillary believes that, but he's kind of maybe looking at what the alt-right wants and these trolls and internet harassers or whatever left wants to call them, and kind of compiled them into a fair list that what they would like to achieve, and then they would be happy and stop this kind of internet trolling. but the trolling is very, very good at the moment. But, anyway, so basically, this is the funny thing. This is the most funny thing that I'm sure Milo went through the list. So okay, demand that Black Lives Matter is a criminal organization. Seems fine. Okay, demand that identity politics for everyone or not anyone. Oh, seems fair. Demand that these lies about feminism are not spread. Blah blah blah. Yeah, looks. Then he comes. Gas the Jews. Let's think about this. I'm a Jew homosexual myself. Let's maybe not gas the Jews. Let's just skip the gassing the Jews and continue on. And because I love the Jews, I wanted to have a reading of this article because now the real alt-right came out and says that you really don't understand. It's not a joke when we sent these Jew-baiting Nazi bullshit on the internet, these memes and whatever. They are not just meant for triggering, but you really need to understand that we want to gas the Jews. Like, I don't know how it works, but like basically that we are denying that Holocaust ever happened, but if we get power, then we will gas the Jews for real this time. So it's very funny and very odd, but basically these are just some neo-Nazi type people who are called storm facts or something like that, and they have this article pointing out that how important it is to gas the Jews. So let's read this and look at it if they make a good case for gassing the Jews. But anyone defending Milo at this point is a traitor. Andrew Jacqueline, Daily Stormer, September 23, 2016. Here's our Jewish leader, Nazi Guillaume. So this is me, Milo Yiannopoulos, in a wig and a dress or something. The Jewish homosexual, this is like the not like reporter or anything. These guys know that the left really puts an emphasis on this identity politics. So this is what you need to know, and now you can judge that. Do you wanna trust the source, or is that something you oppose or something? I don't know. Milo Yiannopoulos gave a speech in Houston on Monday entitled "How to Destroy the Alt-Right." Very good speech. I just watched it. This was of course a clever clickbaity title, as Milo claims to support alt-right. However, the speech itself was a launch of blatant attempt to destroy alt-right. Previously, Milo has claimed not to be a member of the alt-right. However, he has continually been labeled the leader of the alt-right by the media, while also claiming to be fairly representing it as its spokesman. Well, I know you disagree because you believe this bullshit, but I think it's maybe more fair to leave out the gassing of the Jews, because not many normies or people who might read this would agree to the gassing of the Jews. So maybe it's good to leave that out of the list if you otherwise have good set of demands. But I think they think it would be more fair to leave that gas the Jews the most important thing on the list. But okay. What he did in Houston was define the movement as classical libertarian movement. He did this by listing of things which would destroy the movement. Here's the list he gave. So basically that if these demands are met, there's no need for this alt-right movement, because then they are happy. What they are basically opposing. So these are actually, many of them are good things. So one, decide whether you want identity politics for everyone or for no one. There's an Anti-Defamation League and the SPLC, but where are the equivalents for white males? No more anti-white racism in universities, the media and politics. If racism is unacceptable, it must be unacceptable for everyone. And this is a very good point, which I many times take, that these are not fairly treated, these racisms, etc. 2. Grow a sense of humor and stop ruining people's lives over edgy jokes. Yeah, I think so too. People shouldn't lose jobs, etc., because they say something that someone interprets that was hateful, even though that's not the original meaning, but they can mind read, basically. 3. To end the victimhood and grievance culture, claiming to feel offended is not an argument that does not give you special privileges. Fuck your feelings. Yeah, good point. Like, if you would like some changes, for example, university, you need to argue for them. You need to point out the good points, and the others point out the bad points, and then you can have a discussion and vote for it or whatever. Or people who are working, they can choose for you on those choices, whatever you want. What are your rules? But you can't do the thing that you want something very, very obnoxiously odd and then you just cry about it and you get it because you're a special snowflake, right? So, no more immigration, especially from Muslim countries. This would destroy my sex life, but it would also torpedo the alt-right. So, yeah, I don't know about this. Seems like kind of far-fetched idea, but I guess I can see why it is there. But I think this might be too radical, maybe. I don't know. 5. Stop demonizing patriotism. Good point. No more globalization. Another good point. Purge the anime nerds. Now, I don't know. I would rather leave the anime nerds leave be, but actually if I get all these demands, I'm almost like willing to cut my left arm, so I will happily fap to anime from a closet if this goes through, because I think what the idea here is to purge all the crazy neon-colored haired weirdos who are dragonkin or whatever, otterkin or some crazy gender or whatever. I don't know if this is that or what, but I have no idea what this even means, but this seems very odd demand, but it's the number 7. Number 7 is a bit odd, but at least you can say that it's not gassing the Jews. Gassing the Jews number 8. No. It's 8 is stop denying innate gender differences. Not everything is a social construct. Exactly, like if you want to end the gender wage gap, then give me a good idea, like other than forcing women to choose specialization fields they don't want to, so that they will be paid more because they do more demanding work or more well-paid work. What society has deemed, or companies have deemed more useful work for the society or whatever. Other than that, because it's been illegal in Finland, it's been illegal for United States in quite some time to pay different amounts of money for the same job for men and women. I know there might be some mistakes and these things, and you can take them up to your working place, but it's illegal, so they don't do it intentionally because they get into trouble. So yes, stop denying innate gender differences and speak real. Like women might want to have different choices, and if they give them worst of, like if you are in a free society, you can do what you do, then there has to be the possibility for you to choose wrong. Like you have to be able to choose, you have to be free. You can't be expected to pick the best money-wise choice all the time or something. But if you wanna force women to do it, you are more than welcome. I don't understand why you would want to do it, but that would fix your gender wage gap. That would die instantly, because if all the women worked and educated themselves to higher paying jobs, then they would earn more than men, because not all the men go to most higher paying jobs. But anyway, 9. No more safe places. Safe places trigger warning. Stop pretending facts are racist and sexist. A lot of people read, write and say and do as they please, and let people read, write. Yes, true. So they've dropped the ball on many of these issues, because when everyone says some fact, like some statistic or whatever, then he's a racist or sexist or whatever. So you can basically discuss some things that really need to be discussed. Like, for example, this is the ultimate double whammy, basically, when you are saying everything is social construct, gender is social construct, we have this wage gap, but when I bring up that, well, actually statistics say that you are paid the same, but you choose different professors, whatever, sexist, racist, you homophobic, whatever, to shut me up. So yeah, I know these rules or whatever now done in many universities and discussion online even and whatever. I know how it benefits the people in power, but yeah, these are totally bullshit things and need to be get rid soon. Then, and end the pointless and expensive foreign wars. Well, no comment about that. It's a little bit US foreign policy thing, and I don't know it so well to comment. But the next one I have a strong feeling, and I approve 100%. Number 11, criminalize Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter is a racist black supremacy group that achieves nothing for black people. Its only achievement in black neighborhoods is black neighborhoods in ruins. Huge numbers of alt-righters describe themselves as woken up by the lies media told in the Trayvon Martin Michael Brown cases, to say nothing of the frauds and phonies who run it. One of whom is a sound king, is a white guy pretending to be black creepy. Well, I have to just add that yes, this is very much true, and I've debunked Black Lives Matter many times in my channel, and this dangerous lying that media does needs to really stop. But then to add to it even is that for me personally, the thing that made me do this channel and these videos was when Black Lives Matter last summer protest interrupted Milo Yiannopoulos' speech when he was speaking about these ideas and things, because I thought it was a very clear freedom of speech violation and very odd thing happening in the universities, and I can see it happening other places in society as well. So I was very appalled by it, so I wanted to say something. So, well, build the fucking wall, no opinion. I don't live in United States, I don't see what the wall would do, but I don't know if it's a nice wall. You can do what you want with your taxpayer money, but I don't think you can really think that Mexican can pay it. But if you build it yourself, like if this is a demand to the American country, then yeah, sure, get the fucking wall and then you're happy. So 13, railing against Pepe the Frog isn't going to work. Destroying people isn't going to work. It just drives more talented people to the alt-right. Amen to that. Like, I wouldn't be doing this if I wasn't driven there. Like, I would have always thought of myself politically from the left, but there's no place in left for me. And I really wouldn't like to cast the Jews, so I'm really in this bind that where do I belong politically. But anyway, so this is all just basic bitch republicanism. He also gave reasons why he is not the alt-right, which included his support of Israel and his support of endless Jewish wars for Israel. What this was an attempt to add these concepts to the narrative which he is promoting as the alternative narrative of the alt-right. Once again, he claimed that the movement is not racist because Democrats are the real racists, so him. He attacked Weave specifically. The media desperately wants to define the alt-right by the worst 5% of the members. They are genuinely anti-Semitic, racist, the Stormfronters or Stormfacts, the 1488ers, the Andreu Aukemeyers, and use them to define the whole movement. The left is obsessed by white supremacy, which in reality makes up an infinitesimally small number of people, and I really hope so, but let's go to read it. This is a blatant and open attempt to define the movement in the exact terms that the Jews are comfortable with it being defined in, as a generic conservative movement with these social justice warriors have gone too far, but basically agrees with the basic assertions of liberalism. Race doesn't exist. We are the proposition nation. This removes the very most core concepts of the alt-right, which is white identity. And this is while he used our memes and claimed our trolling in the name of his own movement. He started out the talk by saying praise Kek. He is openly claiming the work of a Stormer troll army targeting Jew journalists as a part of his movement, labeling it performative racism. Here's one of Hillary Clinton's "you gotta stop calling half of the country racists." Establishment columnists argue that responding to racism with racism is wrong, but this is an oversimplification of what's going on with the alt-right. Not everyone on the alt-right is Andrew Alzheimer, I don't know who he is. Others, the millennials in particular, are simply responding to a real racism with trolling as a means to expose the double standard. When the double standard disappears, I expect it performative racism, if you like will too. Performative racism doesn't mean racism light, it means memes, it means jokes, it means 19-year-old boys saying stuff to get a reaction, so trolling basically. All of the sekel-clutching anti-Semitism on the internet illustrates this perfectly. Young people don't see anti-Semitism as indifferent to racism or sexism. It's a term robbed of meaning from overuse. I don't believe there has been some dandy spontaneous outpouring of anti-Semitism from 22-year-olds in this country, and no one has made the case or explained why it might be, or even tried to. What I do see is a lot of young people trying to get a reaction. That's the troll manifesto. Find something that a person in power is sensitive about, rightly or wrongly, and joke about it relentlessly until they acknowledge you. This is my work, he's claiming as part of some joke. It's your work, our blood and sweat. Well, you are just typing trolling memes, not really fair to say your work is blood and sweat. Well, maybe if you type really fast you can get sweaty, at least if you are really overweight, but I don't think you meant that. He thinks he can simply take this from us. Were you joking when you sent gas chamber pictures to all these journalist stormers? Or were you doing that because you genuinely hate Jews? Where is the evidence for his claim that we are joking? I am not joking. And every single one of these articles by Jews compiling anti-Semitic tweets were to soldiers of the Stormer troll army. And one tweeter cited in Hillary's alt-right speech, white genocide Diem is a Stormer and not a performative racist. Me and Viv are being personally targeted by Ideal Council of Jew journalists and the former assistant director of the FBI. I wonder what interactions Milo has had with his council. Milo condemns Daily Stormer as evil racist. During the question and answer period of the host and talk, a member of the audience asked about the fascination and the Daily Stormer and our assertion that we are the real alt-right. Oh, interesting. I am writing this now. I want to timestamp. I went to the timestamp I saved where Milo asked the question. Where Milo is asked the question, and it's been removed from the video. What does that tell you? I don't know. I mean, I heard the question from the video, so it wasn't in the short one, but it was in the 2-hour one. I actually watched it just today, but I don't know. Maybe you looked at the wrong place. Let's see what kind of link this is actually.
Even if a wall was built and immigration was curbed, it seems like Western civilization as a whole.
It is said here. It is that question is asked, and I think maybe before that question or maybe after. But anyway, they actually appear to have gone through some effort in editing it out, so there isn't an obvious jump. I certainly wasn't expecting this when I was sitting here typing this article. I'm going to have to find the clip that was removed and uploaded. Well, just look the video again, you'll find it. I can't type a transcript now, so let me summarize it from memory. Someone asked a question about Athenian and Diaz, and he said, paraphrase, oh well, Daily Stormer hates me. They are not really the alt-right. They might have claimed the alt-right meme, but when I use the term, I'm talking about different group of people that are not racist and yeah, he answered a little bit about that, but I want to make sure that he meant the distinction. He's not alt-right, and he's just wanting to give them fair hearing. I think he actually even mentioned that yeah, maybe not gas the Jews. I wouldn't want to gas myself or something like that. And I mean, it's incredibly fair for him, like kind of promote this cause, even if there are some bad apples here and who want to gas the Jews or whatever, but he's Jews and he sees that they are basically politically close enough to his thinking in many issues that he can maybe kind of save the face and take the bad elements that no one will buy. No one will buy the idea that we want to gas the Jews and it sounds awful, and then kind of have the alt-right mean something good, to do something good in the world. And I think I like that, because if we leave the gas the Jews in our manifesto, I am quite sure no one takes us seriously. What do you think? I think it's a good idea to leave it out, because I love Jews, but I don't know, maybe you can answer me in the comments. What do you think of the Jews? Basically, he said that he borrowed the term alt-right from the existing group of people and redefined to meet another group of people, classical liberals who support Donald Trump. At the same time, of course, he is claiming our work has something to do with the new movement. I think it's more of this ideal of trolling and getting a reaction out of people, and they kind of show their skin and how easily triggered they are and make fun of themselves. If you get a good gag, search of good gag. South Park, the 2 new episodes of the season 20 have been really good, and they've really expanded on this idea of trolling, and I think they are really on to something. This idea of trolling seems to be now everywhere and seem like a strategy everyone seems to be using, and maybe it's the only strategy really, humor and trolling, because you have to kind of expand the zone, that overturn window it's called, that like basically that what you cannot say without getting into trouble or something like that. So overturn window is everything good you can say, and then maybe Milo would call it undertone window, means everything else that is racist, sexist and homophobic or whatever. So expanding this and playing with that idea and field of what you can say and what you cannot say and such. But anyway, so no wonder they got that question. It shows this whole thing for the fraud. This is cutting it is a clear admission of guilt. I think it is there. I've seen it. It could be I saw it if it was used in This Week in Stupid, because I also rewatched that today. So Sarkona God's program. So I'm not sure. I could be confusing, but I'm sure I've heard that question being asked and Milo answered it today. So at least you can find it somewhere in the internet. And it certainly shows you who they're afraid of. Milo defenders are traitors, period. Milo has exposed himself. I don't even need to attack him. This has become a massive joke. That was evident from the beginning to me at least, but it must have been evident to everyone who went to MSPNC and she defined the movement as anti-racist. But who I will attack right now is any single member of the alt-right supporting or defending this Jew. I support him 100%. I do, because I don't wanna have to gas the Jews to get all the benefits you are offering me. You are offering really good stuff. I really want this freedom of speech, etc., and this bullshit to stop. So, but I don't think I can. I can't compromise my morals so much that I would gas the Jews to get it. I can't do it. I just can't do it. But I have to make a stand-up joke about the demands of the alt-right and gassing the Jews. Yes, no. Maybe I'll do a stand-up gig and I'll have a poll there that what do people feel about it. That maybe we could add it as a surprise if people really like it, but they don't just too shy to tell about. I don't know. Because if the alt-right is in power, then whatever they say goes, I guess. Like if they are as mean as the current establishment. So he's out there in the open, publicly condemning the Lady Stormer and Weave by name and claiming we are a fringe member of this movement. This is a hostile takeover. What he's attempting to do is replace us with a bunch of libertarian Republicans to drown us out and shoot us down. None of our people are going to suddenly stop caring about race, but there will be many new useless people using our name to identify themselves that we will be pushed out. They will claim Pepe. They will claim our code Kek. So Kek is basically searching for the best lol of the day. So someone gets really triggered and you have so much fun. They will claim Pepe, they will claim our god Kek, they will claim all of our work that we have done over the past 3 years as their own, while claiming there is no place for racism in the alt-right. Pepe is so sad. I wanna show you, because I already made a Pepe meme to support this idea. So when you love the Jews but all your friends would like to gas the Jews, it's so sad moment for Pepe. Pepe don't know what to do anymore. Pepe don't know what to do. Okay. Kek hates the kikes. There can be no question. We have to mobilize fully against this Jew, and we have to do it now. Anyone who says otherwise is either in on this or might as well be. I told you so. I attacked Milo when he first came out with his Breitbart piece saying that the alt-right has nothing to do with white nationalism. I have continued to attack him since an infiltrator and a Jewish subverter. I was shocked at the naivety of those claiming, no, we can use him to help us spread the message. I am once again proven right, as he is openly attempting to jettison the alt-right from the alt-right. There is no longer any excuse. We need to organize against him. And we need to clean our own house of the traitors who are stealing for this Jew. All of these people coming out and saying, oh no, well, we can use him instead of him using us. No need to attack him. That will make us look bad. He can make us popular. then we can negotiate with the Jews. Enough with the tolerating his selling out. My God, it's shameful. I have never been so sickened in my entire life than in watching people scramble in seals as soon as they get a whiff of media attention. What do you people think? This isn't about your ego, or it isn't about your career. This is about the continued existence of the white race, and we only get one shot at this. From now on, you are either with us or you are against us. Well, I hate to be against you, but yeah. So what I suggest is, I think what Milo suggests, that all the rational people who see this bullshit and see that these ideas, this manifesto could do some real good in the world and change it to better, should all brand under this, or then come up with another name and go for these broad aims, because it would really do good for freedom of speech and this Google trying to censor the internet that I read last time. But yeah, so Stormfax thinks this, and then those Milo thinks another thing. We have to see what happens to the gassing of Jews clause in our manifesto. I hope it doesn't stick or whatever, but time will tell. So, last thing I want to show you here is this Storm Fag or Social Justice Warrior Reddit. This is the best Reddit I've ever seen. This is so good. So, the idea is this, that you have people who believe these neo-Nazi right ideals, like those Stormfags, and what I read about the article, what they think. And then you have social justice warriors, which we all know and cause problems. So this takes comments or article names or whatever, and basically removes some information here, but gives you a challenge that you have to think about. Is this the person who says this? Is he a Stormfag or so right, far right or far left? And this is very interesting game to play, because you can clearly see that they think that many people think that if you have political leaning here, and you have left and you have right and you have center, then people think that the extremes are as much as far. There's most distance between the far ends, but it's not actually like that in politics, but it's more of like this horseshoe. So actually that these extremes are really close to each other, and you can see it here, because these want the same stuff to be done to the opposition, but they have another opposition and another identity group to protect. So let's see here, we have to change this group. This could be white men, this could be Jews, this could be women, whatever. All groups should be put in prison and then shot. I think it is social justice warrior. What? So what? Radfem, yes. So yes, it was a social justice warrior. Yes, I was right. But this is hard game. This is very hard game. Let's see another one. Just quickly, couple of. Maybe this one. So, outside of the 99.999 of race who are total evil, I have no problem with non-race as long as they are not destructive. Definitely Stormfront. Definitely Stormfront. Because a lot of numbers, social justice warriors aren't usually this imaginative or use that much numbers. So, who is it? Outside the race. Okay, here. So yes, this was Stormfront. So I am not really sure if I'm white nationalist from some comments I have seen here. Outside of the 99 Jews are the total evil. I have no problem with non-whites as long as they are not destructive. I have no decent. Well, I hope I have to check from the video if I even guessed right, but I think I did. So let's do one more. But this is the best shit ever if you are ever bored and not really safe for work, but otherwise just good for lulz. You can't be pro-race and date other race, woman, man. So what do you think? I think Stormfact, but I might have seen this solution already, but let's see. You can't be pro-race and date other race, man, woman. So you can't be pro-black and date white woman, men. That's like a Jew dating a neo-Nazi. You are either pro-black or you are not. So this was a social justice warrior, but this is a fun game that teach you about political differences and arguments. So I end with that, and it's been a great lul city. Please don't cast the Jews if you ever get power.